And where we left off, I was going to be connecting 3 different things together to make something, and I don't remember what it was. It was aluminum casings, heavy modular frames, and the gas. That's right. I don't remember what it's producing with it, but all that. And what we had figured out for that is that where we have in our map is I've got the aluminum frames over here. I've got... No, that's right. We have the aluminum frames down here. They're produced here, but they're shipped here. And then we can go over here, and we've got our heavy modular frames kind of in this area right here. And where I want to take them is up here. So it's going to be a whole thing that the intention is to take the tracks and like bring it from left to right and then up. So again, I'm going to need a new train station. Now, kind of the big question mark here is, I think this will be fine. Sorry. So the question mark is piggybacking off of one train to another one. There's a whole thing. Hi.
Hi. I just wanted to give you kisses.
Nya, we all make mistakes.
Because you deserve kisses.
Nya. Alright. So where do we want to put this train station? I think the easiest one would be to literally put the train station right here. And just put it like right next to the other one. Oh right, Zoop is off. So put it right over here. Meanwhile, clear off all the cactus and everything that are in the way. Okay. Yeah, so my thought is put a new train station right here. We could bring that over. We'll see what happens with this little mound of dirt here. I might have to just inch the whole thing over slightly. And the reason I'm figuring I put it right here is that the aluminum casing's right there. I should be able to go in here. And just take a conveyor over from one to the other. The danger is it's gonna cause some minor grief early on. Okay, I was hoping to leave just enough space in between for it. Okay, so this is only going to be that one pickup. And that's perfect. Cool. So, with this, what I'm going to need to do is get the conveyor for this over there. I do have some options for making that happen. So, first of all, let's take you off of this. Can I easily... Yeah, we can plug you in. That's step one, is just reroute around that. What I could probably do... to give myself just a little bit more space here. Is there room underneath there? Not really. Not really. I didn't really leave space underneath there. Going underneath the tracks is way easier than going above him. Because above him I have to go like four deep or whatever before it stops looking terrible. Yeah, that's almost exactly that way. So what I could do is drop it down to like surface level. Well, no. What I could do is the forbidden solution, which is we just let it clip through the terrain and pretend it's a tunnel. Can I make that work? Can I make it work? Yeah, that's workable. That might be workable. It's gonna be cursed, but it might be workable. We're gonna try it and just pretend it's a fancy subfloor. So we will put this here. That's not really what I'm looking for. Oh, did you automatically connect up to the two? Interesting. I didn't know it would do that. I can click to it. That's all that needed to happen, was I would be able to click to it. If I can click to it, it can work. Alright. This feels like it's not how these things should work. Okay, so that's there. So this one's the easy one to reach. So this is the one we're going to do second. I think we can do that all in one length. That's the question mark here. So we are connected here. As long as I could do it in one length, we're good. If it takes two lengths, we're screwed. Yes! It's just a tunnel. Don't worry about it, chat. So it is getting onto the conveyor. Oh, it doesn't have power. Right. It won't do physically anything until it has power. Oh, wire's too long? We can do that. There. Now we should see it start topping off. Cool. It only moved 40, but that's because yeah, that's what you want to see. So we can drop that in. Alright, so this stop is sorted. So next up, I need to get over here. So we'll get another train route over this way to where the steel is. And what we're looking to do is pick up the heavy modular frames. Now, the big problem we have here with the heavy modular frame situation is we're clearly not producing nearly enough of those to fill up a train. Like, nowhere near enough. So there is going to be a fight between the two trains on who's walking away with the heavy modular frames. I wonder if I could fit a train station under here. Probably a terrible idea. How tall are you, train station? No, you're way too big. Never mind. Because it would have been interesting to shove it right underneath there. Alright, so that's where heavy modular frames are popping out right there. So it wouldn't be too hard to set up a new train stop right along here somewhere. Bring the track in through here and pop out. I don't think I could get it up and over that area. So, this is where we're at down here, and my next stop is up there. That's kind of where I'm at, trying to decide where I'm putting stuff. Now, I could see building the train. Well, no, it's going to be, with that platform there, it's going to be hard to squeeze it around, because the train can't go very high vertically very quickly. So that track is probably coming in through here. Maybe it could also very easily come in from this side. Yeah. No, very realistically, I could bring the track in past that over this way. And then it probably would have enough space to turn that way and go up and over. All right, let's plan for the train to come from over here. We have one row that's just there as filler. And then this will be the actual train station area, so I'll need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll start going this way more. So I need to turn right after this. Okay, because then we'll go out this way. We'll turn over here, and where I said it's going to come in from this way, we'll go out this way, turn over this way, and then we should be able to shoot right out over here. And then we can go up and over that, and that should put us at about where we need to go. So cool. So we are starting to get to the point where I'm having to, like, weave our trains in through our factory and all that, which is interesting as a problem to have. That's fine. Yeah, these are very clearly not on the same grid. That's right, that one's not on the world grid, this one is. I remember that being an issue way earlier. So. If the train is going to be butt up to that side and coming from this way, we can go transportation. It'll have the train stop on its way back. It's fine. I'll just extend the platform one more tile. Okay, what that means, if it's going that way, I will need empty platform for the first spot, because that will align with the existing pickup. And then I will need the freight for the second part, to pick up the modular frames. Could be kind of tricky to make this turn. And then an empty freight spot, because I've been trying to mostly do that where we need. Okay, so with that, we should be able to get the heavy modular frames going that way. I do have this spot here, so I think what we do is we grab you, and we put a splitter right around here, clean up this. That side of the splitter goes over here. And I bring this one this way. Alright, how do I want to do this one? Because I don't want to just leave it loosey-goosey or anything like that either. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna flip that going the other way. Because then I've got this here, and the input's there. Here, let's adjust this all a little bit to make it less cursed. Alright. And I can go take this over here. Where are you going? No, we're not taking that route. Stop it. That's a terrible route. Okay, so with that, we should now be bringing in the heavy modular frames from there. Unfortunately, as I mentioned before, we're not producing them nearly as fast as I need to. Did I already get this thing doubled? Yeah, so I already have the summer sloops in there. We are getting the modular frames, but not enough to keep this thing running. It says 0% speed. Okay. Let's go take a peek at our modular frames real fast. Why do I see almost no screws in this track now? Something has gone horrifically wrong with my steel. So is it a matter of I need more constructors producing screws? The answer is yes. Without going any farther, the answer is yes. Oh, and there's this piece of stone in the middle here. That's fine. We'll work around it. Maybe. Alright, so that's gonna be a problem. Okay. I'll just scooch it up one tile, a platform. And I'll put the constructors up here. And go all the way to the end here. What are you even... Oh, let's fix that. Because I'm going to hate it otherwise. So I'm going to need to bring it up to right here first. And then take it the rest of the way. Okay. What? Wire trying to snap there? Okay. Alright, so now I can go here to the... Wait, what? Are you just iron ingots? No! Okay. That's not what we want. Also, why are you going so slow? Interesting. So we weren't even using the steel screw recipe here. That's not at all productive. Alright, well, hang on. So we can make that way better. I was under the impression I was using the steel screw recipe, which is way better than that. So let's get that switched over wherever the heck... Okay, so there's where the steel... Oh wait, was I making the screws for that over here, or where was I doing that? So we've got those bars, they're going over here. Oh, I'm not making us steel bars to... It's fine. We'll just keep doing the iron. That's literally all the iron's going for is over here. And I don't have any of this till after the steel production. So that'll be fine for now. We definitely need to switch that over. But for the moment, I just need this producing. And I can worry about cleaning it up later. So select recipe, cast, drop those in. Cast, cast, cast. That because I was sitting there, I was like, how on earth are we falling behind on this recipe? Because that was one of the big things about the recipe we were using, is the steel recipe, the amount of screws you produce is pretty absurd. But that'll be fine, because all it'll take to fix it is we'll switch out where we're putting the ingots in, and instead have the steel in, and then just switch the recipe and everything else will, you know, quote-unquote, just work. Steel screws is absolutely outrageous. It's 260 screws per minute. Yeah. That was the reason when I ran out of screws, I'm like, how? That shouldn't even be in the realm of things to worry about. Alright. So it does look like we're running into a capacity on our steel ingots, though. And the big problem I'm going to run into with that, though, is... where on earth am I going to fit more production for it? 'Cause, I mean, I could go in here. You know what? These are actually probably... I've got enough of these. We can just fix this by just saying, what if all the sluggos? I usually don't like putting slugs in the middle of the production, but in this case I'm kind of squished in here. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, so we did just massively increase the amount of those we're producing. Wait, do I have another row of these? Where was... Okay, so we're starting to hit a throughput issue on the iron ingots from the looks of it. Let's take a peek at what's going on here and what we can do to improve it. Okay. Alright. And meanwhile, those are all running fine. I can certainly expand this. The matter of where. So, probably the easiest way for me to expand this would be, I've got a little bit of space over here, not a lot. I could probably go over here. Would that be enough room? I think that would. Alright, we're getting to that point where there's the chunks of rock in the way. Alright, we can still definitely expand it. Going this way will be a little bit harder than the other way. Okay. Yeah, so that should work. I will put a stilt up to this far, probably. And we can go all the way down here. There'll be a bunch more of these online. Okay. Because I need those screws popping in, because that's what's giving me my modular frames, which I'm using to get my heavy modular frames. Alright, so you've got only one more connection. Alright, and you are making iron. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Just what I thought. get rid of that. Okay, so that should help a little bit. All the rest of that's going fine. And you're going as fast as you can. We got 2 different connections going in. That's solid. And that's just splitting up because half of it's going this way, half of it's going the other way to keep all that going. That should be enough to keep it all running. It'll take a little while to build up, and then it should start to stabilize. But that definitely will increase the throughput of our iron ingots a lot. And I'm hoping that'll be enough to get that stabilized. I see that this belt is holding up the rate that those steel beams are getting through the factory. Which will be important because I'm using those for a couple of different things. Alright, so that's that area of the steel beams upgraded. There goes the increased screw production, trying desperately to keep up. We're going to have to get that switched over. It's definitely not adequate. Alright. I believe one of these is going to train. Okay. Alright, so we've got that sorted. So that's producing more enough steel beams, which is what I need for the screws. So I think the answer here is to... Oh man, the coal is falling behind. Alright. One problem after the other. Okay, let's go deal with our coal. And I think this is maybe just a belt throughput issue. Because the good news is I have a whole nother coal node way out there I haven't even touched. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just the belts here can't carry enough through fast enough. Because if that slows down, the whole factory's steel production will grind to a halt. That's not the one I wanted, but I'll go ahead and take it. Alright, so let's see if there's invisible separations here. Yep, so there's definitely an invisible separation here, and the way we can tell is, well, actually it's not an invisible separation, it's just that spot we got missed. Any of these looking like they're slowing down? Nope. Right, so we sped these up a ton, and as a result, they're consuming coal at a much higher rate. So they're each consuming coal at 100 units per minute. So that's 500 units there. So let's pop down here and make sure we're getting more than the 500 units being produced. It's not looking like it, or it could actually even be that these belts down here are just not adequate. Oh, this is when my inventory is full. That's what that is there for. Okay. So you're producing 150 and we're consuming 500, so that's already concerning. And now it's fully sluggoed up and everything. So yeah, so I need to get the third one online. That's what we got going on. We've reached that point that those two is not enough. part of why we set up there is there was a lot of coal in this area that I could get at easily. And we can go here to production, Mark II, get it pointed this way. Clean this up. Plug it in, and immediately slug it up to the top. Okay, so that's a better node. Yeah, so that should give us a little bit more than I need. Just a little bit. And it looks like I've already got all those stilted up to height 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, and with that we can just run this this coal node over there, and that'll be all the coal in this area tapped out, because I have the one coal node up here is going toward gunpowder production. That said, we could certainly move the gunpowder production if we boil down to it. That's nowhere near as important as my coal or my steel production is. It's also possible eventually I have to make myself a second steel location, and that second steel location maybe we specialize into making just steel tubes or whatever. Okay, so with that we should see the coal start rocketing on through here, and that is a saturated line, because now our limiter is the belt, and just barely, so it's not worth me running a second line. Okay. Yeah, so you're going full tilt. We are starting to top all these off. That'll get the ingots producing well again. Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is we're looking up here, and I'm just not getting enough screws. Like, just not even close to enough screws. So what I would like to do is this is going to be a retooling of this area. So since you're not getting enough ingots this far up anyways, where's the ramp? Right here? Take that out. That's gone. Because these aren't producing anything worthwhile as is, and I've got that right there. You get where this is going. Let's rip all this input out, and we're going to make it use those steel bars and go the other direction. And I shouldn't need to do more than this, and the reason why is because there's just not going to be, like, I would need 2 or 3 belts to carry the amount of screws this is going to produce over, so that's not even a concern. Why are you so cursed in the path you're following? There we go. Can I get you to settle right there? Alright, we can run this all the way over here. Oh wait, no, that was okay. It was right, gonna be right the first time. I'm overthinking it and getting myself in trouble. Okay, so you just plug right in here and get rid of that stand. I was only using that to line things up. And then we grab you. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Then go to you. And plunk all these down. It's fine. So I've got all these wired up, and so what's going to happen now is go here, select recipe, and we are doing the steel screws. So that's 200 screws per minute. So that's 260. This will be 540. And then this will put us up to, let's see, 540. That puts us up to 800. And what that means here is I've already maxed out the belt's capabilities. This one here, useless. Get it out of our life. It's done. Can't handle it. Belt can only handle 780, and we're putting out 800. Do the math. You can see the problem right here in action. And so with that, all of these, not needed. They're all gone. And then what I'd do is, if we want to improve this more, is I would have to run a second belt or wait till we have the next tier of belt. Because there is one more tier of belt, but it does only give me 200 items per minute more. So literally, it would just let me get one singular more of these on the line. Wifey. Mm-hmm.
Remember me.
I will. You have good sleepy sleeps.
Okay, you have good sleepy sleep.
Oh, that's not gonna happen.
I know.
I know. It is what it is.
Yeah. But I love you.
I love you too.
We're fun to kiss.
That's a secret.
Okay.
Alright. Cool. So we just cut down all of that production. And you notice this belt here, that belt right there, solid. Straight up solid. So these ingots going right in the trash. Those are trash ingots. We don't speak about the trash ingots. Alright. Cute, well thank you. Alright, and all of that's going over here, which should help out our modular frames, because we observed that it was just not producing any at all, which is not going to cut it. So yeah, so if I need more going on here, I need another belt. So these weren't getting enough. We did the math earlier, and as long as that belt is fully saturated, it should go through all this. It's just going to take a minute to backfill all of these ones. So we're like, this one, it stops moving every once in a while. They will all get there. It's just going to take a little bit of time to kind of buffer up, as it were. Here, and that'll speed that up. And then what'll end up happening is we'll get over here. And then plus it'll also help as this box fills up with reinforced plates, which I'm going to help that because I don't need those in my inventory. I can drop 10 of you here. Alright. Yeah, so good news is these are coming along. Now granted, these consume an absolutely unreasonable amount of screws. So, very genuinely, it might be worth me running a whole second line of screws across. That is a little tricky. The alternative would be I run the actual bars across, which I just realized the bars are already here. In hindsight of all the work we've done, literally, I could have just taken that and plugged it in there and added the stuff for producing the screws right up here. It's fine. I've already built it all, so it's gonna stay. This thing is done here. That was for like all of our extra junk because this used to be set up differently. So I just had a pair of awesome sinks and was just deleting it all because I didn't want to deal with it. There we go. Yeah, literally I could just put in a bunch of constructors over here to convert the steel bars into screws and do that. I'm not going to do that right now. As long as this is stable, I can live with it for the moment. I'm saying that while also simultaneously going back and forth being like, do I do I switch this over now? Because I know I probably should. Yeah, because those are filling up. Oh, you're not getting enough plates. Alright, hold up. We got another problem. Okay. Well, we can fix that problem pretty straightforward. And we mentioned earlier, it's a one-to-one relationship between those. So if I add 3 of those, I gotta add 3 to these. Because it looked like for our reinforced plates, I wasn't getting enough plates. All right. So we can get our iron ingots here, and here, and there. Get that fixed. Okay. Oh, right, didn't connect the other side yet. I was like, that should be a one-to-one. Why am I not getting that many more? Right, because I didn't want to forget about setting up the smelters. So you want to just go over here. Then get all the iron plates set up. And if I have to add more, that's fine too. All right. And where's your power? Okay, so you need a new power pole. Cool. So that should speed up the production of the plates, because I did observe that they weren't getting over here. And it's not too low of a belt, it's a production problem. How many plates are you consuming? You're consuming 30 plates per minute. So 150 plates per minute. I thought those were also putting out 30 plates per minute. Oh no, maybe these are only putting out 20. No, yeah, so 20 plates per minute. So 100, so 30 plates per minute, so that's 150. So that's 100, and that'd be 160. Okay, so we should be on a net positive on plates now. And the screws are just continuing to pile up. As much as I don't want to, I do think the correct answer here would be to get the steel bars over here and start a line of constructors for making screws over here. Because that way when I overload a belt, I could just pop up another belt real fast and it not have to be run across the entire area. And then I really need to get back to making the cube things I was starting to work on, because I keep getting pulled away from that. So what I think we can do, this should work, is we can put the constructors around here. Yeah, give you room to expand over there. Put the constructors here. And just like before, 3 constructors overwhelms the belt. So I should only need the 3. And then I can go down here, logistics, pop a hole. And I'll put that right about there. That'll be out. Make that slightly lower. And now this whole line needs to be upgraded. There we go. I was like, I see that spot. All right. Okay, and the rest of that's already all upgraded. Cool, cool. So with that, we should be able to start getting the screws being produced on this side. That's going to be more efficient than trying to run all the screws back and forth. We'll see. I'm probably going to have to keep upgrading our steel production, which is a perfectly reasonable problem to have. All right. We can go to you and that. And you and that. And you and that. Cool. So you're at the point that upgrading your steel production, you might just overclock a bunch of stuff before you think you should get bed. Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's basically what I did is when you looked at it. Before I worried about trying to, like, overhaul a lot of it, I went to my actual steel foundries and just said, alright, there's a bunch of slugs. Just do. Okay. So those are now producing. And if you look here, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to have a merger here. Yeah, we'll figure this out. I think I'm going to put a merger around here, so it's nice and in between these. So right there. Cool. And the reason I put it like that is what I want to happen is these are going to prioritize there. And I want to swap that probably for a smart splitter. Of course it's this way. It's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put Smart Splitter here, and you'll see what I got going on in a moment. So Smart Splitter, I would like to line it up perfectly with that. Plug it in. Okay. So, this is now our overflow. To the right is our any. So the idea is it will prioritize putting screws off to our reinforced plates, but if that backs up, then it will assist. So to a certain extent, that whole line there of screw production, or sorry, the screws we're shipping in, those are just going to reinforce plates now, and then it's only when we have an overflow. And then meanwhile, all these screws are pretty much strictly going into the modular frames. So that should be the area of just shy of 1,600 screws being pumped into this thing per minute to allow me to scale this. Needless to say, that gives me the ability to get a lot more modular frames going if I need to. Let's figure out how many modular frames that you need to be producing. So we are producing 15 per minute between those three assemblers. So let's pop down here. Needless to say, screws are terrible. Yes. And you're consuming between you two 5, so I've got 10 more modular frames per minute being produced. And you're consuming 7.5. So I should have a slightly higher amount of modular frames being produced than I'm consuming right now. Now, I do think for the heavy modular frames, I probably do want to have a second assembler going, but for right now, we're just going to let that play catch up. Now, back to what I was working on, which was getting everything online. So we got our second train station online. It's got the heavy modular frames going into it. So let's go ahead and plug you in. Yeah, so we're not making very many heavy modular frames at any given time, but that's just the start. Meanwhile, before we forget, we can get those done in the space elevator. But the next thing is to go to where we've got our nitrogen being pulled up. And I got a giant platform over there. I need to put a train station over there. Then we're going to drop those materials off. And when I drop those materials off over there, then we can go ahead and start producing that good over there in the far left. And once that's producing, then we're going to be good for leading edge production. And leading edge production, I believe I only have that and one more research. I don't even think the other research had a new material I need. I think it's just more of the same, but I could be wrong. But once I get that, we can start making the rocket-looking things. And then after that, we just have the last one of those going on. So, boom. That's done. So that's good news. I will go ahead, and we have our supercomputers down here, right? Where are you at? I actually do have a bunch of these fuse things. Just can I handcraft the last 5? No, because you need nitrogen gas, so I won't be able to. Because what we could do is really fast shove in the supercomputers, because I probably have 100 just sticking in here. Boom, boom, there's 100. We've got that. I'll grab the empty fluid canisters for unlocking more research, because then I want to make rocket fuel, and I probably won't be able to grab all of that steel pipe out at one time. Where was steel? There you go. But we got a good chunk of it. Because we're over here, let's just drop it off real fast to get ourselves moving towards the next milestone. But I should also be able to go to the MAM and unlock rocket fuel. And then once I get 50 rocket fuel, I'll be able to unlock ionized fuel, which I am curious about how cursed and wonderful that'll be. So let's pop over here real fast to the MAM, the sulfur. Let's grab one of the 2 hard drives I spared in the box here. And start research.
Rocket fuel unlocked. Pioneers will be able to use rocket fuel in the fuel generator and any vehicle that uses fuel, including the jetpack, with appropriate results. Warning: mixing rocket fuel into coffee does not enhance its energizing effect.
Alright. So then the question is, if we look at our production, what does it take to make rocket fuel? Alright, it's going to be production. Will it be the blender we use to make that? Because I can see it being a couple different buildings. I can see it being the refinery, the blender. Yeah, so rocket fuel. So rocket fuel is going to be turbo fuel and nitric acid. That's actually pretty easy to do. That's honestly not going to be a hard one to do at all, because I just take it to where the turbo fuel is, and I get the nitric acid. And the interesting thing is that we get compacted coal back out. Okay. Well, once I get this thing up here going, then we'll go mess with that and make bad choices that result in almost certain self-injury. Alright. Hey, Vitas, how's it going? Alright. Oh, I need to be going north, not east. Okay, so now we need to go where our nitrogen is and getting all that squared away. Now, the curious thing, better than last night, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. So I think what's going to happen is we'll do the nitrogen up here to make the frames. And we'll have a bunch of other stuff we expand later with that. But I think what we're ultimately going to do is I'll go to one of the not as good nitrogen nodes way to the south. And I'll hook those up. That's the same one, we've already been down there. We'll go down to one of those to hook it up to our oil production for making a ridiculous amount of rocket fuel. So that's our new railroad station. We haven't got hooked up. You friend? You friend? You got something good for me? Nice job, I guess. Nice try. You brought me some goodies. This one was a miss. Alright, so we're gonna go up to our nitrogen, and then I'll have to figure out how we're running the trains in between these spots. Because once I get the train run here, we'll be able to make those leading edge cube things. More than likely, a lot of the production stuff we're gonna do at the very end is gonna be on this north end. I'm a little concerned about bringing the stuff between it. That is one major difference I have with this factory versus the last one. My last one, because everything was kind of in the same place, it made a lot of stuff easy to sort out, navigate, whatever you want to say for your phrasing. Versus this one, I've got a lot of stuff very dispersely all across the map. And so that's been an interesting difficulty. Alright. Because it means I've had to build more and more trains just to get stuff where it needs to go. So as far as time consumption, I spend a lot of time just building the infrastructure to move my stuff around. Versus the last one, it was just slap down a conveyor belt real fast and give it a thumbs up and move on with our lives. More than likely in the long run, this will probably be one I'm going to need train signals on. Because more than likely in the long run, as we go and say, okay, time to add the particle accelerator, time to add this and that, I'm gonna end up needing a bunch of different trains going to different locations to bring those in. That's part of the reason I'm building this platform so large. I'm anticipating this being a very large location in the long haul. It's also one of those things I could see that if you wanted to better optimize your train, I could see you creating like a sky rail that you have like your east-west sky rail and everything would branch into it. And then you use your signals to get around all of it. Okay, so I think we bring our train in way over here. That way the nitrogen's all over there, we don't have to worry as much. So transportation, train station. I'm going to give this train station room to grow. Just out of an abundance. Oh, actually, you know what I could do? Don't go that way. Go this way. And the reason why I'm thinking that is if I have it go east-west, I can have a bunch of trains jump on like the same track to bring it in here and then pull into their individual stations. And I could probably have an in-out track, too. Now, granted, that's going to be some setup, but luckily I won't need to do it all at one time. Because like I said before, I do want to leave plenty of room so that I've got a bunch of area to put up factory for the nitrogen and all that. I am going to have stuff that's going to need water, and I'd rather not have to pump that water up too high. Okay. So, let's plan for now. you're going to have, it's about 2 tiles, so empty platform, freight, freight, station. So freight platform, but that is the out, that is the out, and platform. You are an unload spot. Wait. Yeah. And you are an unload spot. And that means all this space over here I can use very easily for factory purposes. And that's without even having to get into the area of like adding a second floor and yada yada yada. Okay, now you've got power for the train station. So that should be pretty good, because then what I can do is I can put some spacing in between these, and that'll give me room to run the conveyors. I'm not going to worry about setting up the reaction right now. It won't matter if I don't have a train hooked up. So, first area we need to figure out. So we're way over here, and our next train station is the Boreas, however we say it, because we're going to go down to that station, and then over to this station. And that should be everything I need. Realistically, it's going to be more like over this way and then down that way. Like weaseling through it, because that train station I lined up to the gap there. So let's just aim down that area, try and go up and over and where I need to go. So for that, we're going to need to mess around with some platforms. I'm going to tell you to do over this way. Alright, I feel like we should... You know what, let's plan for this to be something we can work with a lot in the future. Let's bring it out a little bit farther this way, then we're gonna go and turn it. We're gonna go straight on down this way to start with. And the reason I'm doing that is so we can have the railway come out here, it would merge onto a track going this way. And then we can start shooting up that way for the train. So this will be the point we'll want to get our ramp involved. And our goal here is just to relatively get in this direction. I can fix a lot of this when I'm actually laying the track. Because this doesn't need to be straight at all. Alright, let's see. So that's the gap we're going for there. So honestly, just send it. You're surprised I have pre-roll ads? I don't. If you saw a pre-roll ad, that's something wrong. I haven't run pre-roll ads in ages. Oh, you got one? If you're running an ad blocker, that can cause you to get extra ads. Because it can mess with Twitch's ability to detect whether or not you're supposed to see ads and all that. So that is something to keep in mind. There's a lot of websites nowadays, if you run an ad blocker, you'll actually get even more ads than normal. Not always. Like, it's kind of an arms race where sometimes the ad blockers are winning, sometimes they're not. And you get the whole idea about that. Okay. So that's what we're trying to get to. Also got an ad when coming in. I've actually run more ads than normal. Like not more as in like I'm doing more in total, but because of just timing of breaks, I ran a couple of the ads a bit earlier. Just Firefox, private browsing tab. Interesting. Maybe it's the private browsing thing? I actually don't know very many people who like run in private mode or incognito or any equivalent like that as their normal. That's a bummer, because like I said, we've been running the minimum amount of ads to disable the pre-rolls, because it would be straight up awful if, like, not only are we running the ads to get rid of the pre-rolls, but still getting pre-rolls as well, because that just means, like, double damage on the ads. And that's not how it's supposed to work. It's probably Twitch just having some kind of bug. But yeah, no, I don't have pre-rolls turned on. Let me actually check one thing. Let's just make sure that Twitch didn't reset my settings. Because that has been a thing that has occurred before. Not this particular setting. But I have had where, like, my ad settings got reset to something I didn't want. So let's see real fast to... Man, I gotta remember where this is even at. It would be monetization, ads. We've got them scheduled. We've got it set so I get to determine. Disable pre-rolls ads when ads run. Weird. Not everything on my side looks good. You thought it was your timing coming in at the exact time of the ad block started? Go to stream restart, got the ad again. Yeah, no, we're not supposed to have pre-rolls. I have everything configured correctly on my side to disable them, so I'm gonna take it to Twitch as being a little buggy. Twitch do like to Twitch. I gotta go just a smidge higher. Alright. So that's good from that side, and now from this side, I want to get the train to go kind of just over that direction however I can. That could happen. Yeah. Twitch does have times that things break. Hey, you got something for me, friend? Thank you. Yeah, sometimes Twitch has stuff break. I mean, it's not only Twitch, like... Everyone has bugs once in a while. But that's a particularly annoying one. It's always a tricky thing as a content creator as well. Because you know these things negatively impact stuff. Because it's actually noticing, it's like, man, my viewership's down a little bit. You know, compared to what I would expect that. And it was just one of those things, like, it doesn't bother me, there's a billion things it could be, but then hearing that, like, the pre-rolls are, I'm like, you know what? That would align very closely with my expectations if I was running pre-rolls based on my previous my previous testing. Alright. Okay, didn't clip to the train. That was my big worry. Alright. And the good news is I had enough concrete that I could just do this in one go. Realistically, I'm gonna have a bunch that's in my inventory now and not be able to get rid of it, and that's the whole thing. Let's have you go to about there, then try and line you up with the drop. Cool. Alright. And now we can just run straight on through. And that's where I said the actual alignment doesn't matter much. Because if you hold control, it'll keep it facing the same direction. It'll just adjust the height. So in cases like this, I can do that kind of thing. Alright, we'll need to get rid of that. Fine. Oh, come on. Cool. And so with that, we've got it all connected. But before we get too far, let's rip up all this concrete. And do all that. You know, hopefully it sorts itself out on the other side. I do wonder if it is the thing, like you said, you're running privacy mode. But like I've said, there has been times that different ad blockers have broken it. And a lot of time it is, like I said, it's an arm race between ad companies and ad blockers, that the ad blocker comes up with a way to block a type of ad, and then the ad company comes up with a way to get around the ad blocker, and they go back and forth. And unfortunately, probably the reality is ultimately the advertisers will win, because as annoying as ads are, when it comes to people putting actual cash money into funding development and all that, there's a much, much larger amount of money to be made on the ad side than the ad blocker side, unfortunately. And then you also get into stuff like some ways you needed to handle ad blockers, they try and make rules around, and yada yada. It's an arms race. It'll go back and forth. But eventually it'll get to the point where it's inconvenient enough that people just won't run them. Not like, I shouldn't say people won't run them. There'll still be people who run them, but the number of people who run them will be far fewer. Which I guess would arguably make them work better. Because with fewer people running them, you know, the ad blockers won't have as many people working on them, since they'll be seen as less necessary. Let's go ahead and get rid of these. For the record, I'm not a big fan of ads in general. That said, at least the ads on Twitch really do help. Like, they really do help support content creators a great deal. You'll have people who badmouth and be like, oh, well, creators don't make any money off of them. It's like, that's not true. It is a thing that if you were a much smaller channel with lower viewership, yeah, you're not making a whole lot of money, but then that's also true usually of your subs and your bits and everything else. Generally speaking, like, viewership is the thing that most of your metrics are going to be based around. Alright. And I wasn't paying attention to what my middle route is. Oh, there should be 3 stops, right? Oh, no, wait, I got a whole extra stop to attach. I was sitting there, I was like, wait a second, there should be a whole extra stop here. Yeah, because I didn't connect the other stop yet. That is how this works. And the stop I'm connecting to should be right over there. Let's run that there, figure out where the stop is real quick. Because it should be right over here. I just don't remember the exact spot. Is that it? No, that's one's already connected. Oh, it's right here. It's literally right here. Well, crap, I planned for it to go the other way. That's fine. So I do want to take the run through these trees over here and to that end. Hey, could you not? I kind of want to keep some of these trees in place just to have a little bit of environment, but I will blow up this forest if it's what it takes to get you to leave me alone. Let's see, the other day you looked at some YouTube comments saying, I hope YouTube knows. 1 second. Let's see, I hope YouTube knows I will never buy anything ever from a company that advertises on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, I've already had the talk where people, every once in a while, have someone comes in there and goes like, ads don't work on me. And you're like, well, first, you're wrong. But also, whether or not they work on you, I can tell you from working at a company that we bought ad space, oh my god, they're effective. Like, it is upsetting how effective advertising is. And the ones we were using was Google AdSense. But they'd be like, load A today, and they'd turn around and they would drop, you know, I don't know the amounts, but they'd drop a chunk of money on Google AdSense, and you'd go from like all the people who handled the calls coming into the building, basically twiddling their thumbs with nothing to do, to suddenly like every single phone was like backed up and our wait times were just blowing up and all that. It was deeply upsetting how effective ads were. And I wish they weren't, for the record. I genuinely wish they were completely ineffective and that companies went, man, this just isn't a thing. That way we got listened. Now, granted, I think realistically in that world, the free internet as we know it would stop being a thing because servers take money to run, and that means they would need a new way of making money. And if the free option can't work because they don't have someone else paying their bill, i.e. advertisers, someone's got to. And that would probably be the people accessing the website. Which means more and more websites would need to be paywalled. So it's kind of one of those things that it sucks, but at the same time, if it goes away, we end up with a whole different set of problems. You're tempted to agree with them and just say YouTube should charge a fee to watch or no content. Yeah, that's paywall. I mean, that's like, and for the record, there are more monetization strategies than simply pay or ads. You can do merchandise, you can do a whole bunch of other things. The difficulty is always scale. Like, because again, the servers have their price. You can want them to be cheaper, but there's kind of only so much you can do. There is some stuff you could do to mitigate the cost of your servers and hosting and yada yada yada. But believe me, companies are probably already doing 90% of what they can to cut their costs on all of that. Because it's all heckin' expensive. Okay. Oh, I need to turn that timer off. I'll do that in just a moment. That was for a sponsored segment. For the record, they didn't even require the timer. But, you know, generally speaking, there's certain things that are just like standard practice for advertisers. And a lot of times, unless they specifically tell you not to, it's like, yeah, well, still do the timer to promote your game and whatnot. You are paying me. But let me go ahead and turn that off because we don't need that blast in chat. And disable. There we go. Because you want to do right by your sponsors. Otherwise, you stop getting them. And then that means I have to, you know, come up with even more ways of getting bits and subs and all that. And that's something I'm not good at. Alright. Let's see, you apparently YouTube cares now because 4K the amount of storage required for it. Oh yeah, no, that's oh man, there was some statistics that these are all old. That it was something like, I couldn't remember how many lifetimes worth of video get uploaded on YouTube daily. That literally in the course of a day, more footage gets loaded on YouTube than if you were watching every last footage at over 10 times speed, you would still fall behind. Like there's just no keeping up with it. Alright, so with that, everything should be connected by rail. Let's go up here and get the trees that it intersects the track with out of here. That one's fine, and we're good. Yeah, apparently YouTube also charges for 4K now. That's honestly something I don't have much of a problem with. Like, being able to get a good enough quality in general for free with ads or like your premium service or whatever. And then if you want to have even more. Alright, so this is the middle station. So the middle station is facing that way. So if we look at it, it needs to be goes first. And what's the name of the station I'm at? Well, actually, if we can't get that. So it goes, Boris, Venray, save, turn on self-driving. Go forth, my train. Live streams a lot or a lot of footage. Yeah, I keep waiting for YouTube to do some. Chat. I gotta move some platform. I can't. Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for YouTube to kind of go the way of Twitch, where no, like, videos aren't permanent. Like, I could see different ways they could do it. I could see one where just videos are required to have like a certain amount of viewership or something to be allowed to stay, or like you don't get them long term unless you partner, because for them the cost of storing those videos and hosting them is astronomical. I could only imagine over time that they'd limit that, and if that happens, that would be a reckoning for a lot of people's use case for YouTube. Because for like a lot of us content creators, we use YouTube as a place to keep our VODs, and those would almost all be gone. Because outside some like really big content creators, very, very few people get good viewership on their VODs. It's more just a place to store it, which is something YouTube probably doesn't want. But then you have a whole lot of people who post, like, you know, videos of their kids or whatever. Time to buy Vaymo then? Well, ultimately, I think the problem is that's just a repeat issue, is these companies gotta make money. For the record, YouTube actually is profitable. Twitch is not, but YouTube is profitable. Are you working? Station unreachable. Okay, let's fix that. When that happens, we just grab our next spots, and we edit our timetable and say, hey, what if those are in different order? Save. Station unreachable. What if we turned off the auto drive? Oh, it's still concerning docking. And try driving in the track itself and see what the heck is wrong. Alright. Because what should happen is we stop at that... Oh, you know what? I bet you the last stop... I pulled in from the wrong side of it for the station. We'll check it. Because if I did that, what I'll end up needing to do is just turn around where the stop is. Which, that's the reason I leave the blank. Is because it's easy to fix a lot of stuff. We'll just pretend that sneaks right under, and that it's amazing. Okay, so we should be able to reach Boris from there. And then you... should have been able to reach this. I do wish when it came to these, and you pulled to the station, it would just show which way it's facing. Because it really is hard to tell. Oh, okay, so there's how we can tell it's rounded on the front part. So that's correct. Yeah, and that's... Yeah, Otan, that is... I mean, you're in the ads. That is the normal ad break. Okay, so edit table. So let's put... Venray, we go all the way to goes, which is up here, and then we pop that. Let's see, why are manifolds so long to fill up? Why are manifolds so long to fill up? Oh, you can hear me? Yeah. So I was gonna say, this is the normal ad break. This is working correctly. As opposed to getting pre-rolls is what's not supposed to happen. Oh, I also just realized... Get rid of that tree. Okay, so this should load up the stuff here. And I'll take that back there. Unmuted the preview using the picture-in-picture. Yeah, no, I'm glad. So I've had Twitch Turbo forever. Like way before being a content creator myself. Like way back I got Twitch Turbo, and I've kept it the whole time because I just don't want to see the ads. So like I don't... Like I've gone in a couple of times where I've run incognito just to see what the normal experience is. But it's just one of those things I can't relate to as much just because I do run. So I hear about like the ads improving or getting worse or whatever, but because it's just not something I experience day to day, I can't really compare. Now I can tell you I find the YouTube ads to be completely obnoxious because I'll have people argue it's like, oh, well, YouTube has less ads. It's like, no, they don't. YouTube, you can get a 48-minute ad. You can get an 18-minute ad. You can skip it, but only if you're actively sitting there to skip it. You know the massive manifolds, that longer they are, the longer it takes to fill up, but dang, this one's taking forever. Oh yeah, no, it's just one of those things that's like, it goes half and half and half and half. Alright. So what should happen is it should empty that out, and then we should see it turn around and go back for the next thing. And if we've got that, then the train is all set up fine, and we can get back on to the next step of what we're working on. I just want to see the train actually leave, because that means we've got it all set up. So honk, and get out of here. Alright, so let's go take a peek at that station. Something's wrong. The track is clearly fine. We were able to come the entire way this way, and we rode the train up. So I'm not entirely sure what happened there. But it should be working. The only thing I could think is that my rotation on the station in the middle is wrong, or maybe it's not powered. Maybe if it's not powered, it doesn't work. Okay. Took a picture, we'll share the Satisfactory channel. But all these constructors except a couple are the same manifold. Yeah. Well, no, and that's, for those people don't get what that is, manifold is when you, like, you put a splitter into a splitter into a splitter into a splitter. Ah, there you go. There's your problem. The station was facing the wrong way. Okay, so we can go station, train, timetable, edit timetable. So we need to add Amsterdam, and it goes... Yeah, that's right. It needs to be after it goes. Because it comes from this side, connects there. So stop here, go the whole way back, grab it, stop here, stop here. That's fine. So we should be good. So unfortunately, that means it is going to do another full cycle before it brings back what I need, but that's okay. It's set up now, and that's what matters. And so we can go back up here, and we get the leading edge production online, and that'll be good news. You can get a 2-hour ad on YouTube. You've seen that. Prostitution is advertised on YouTube. I haven't seen that. But yeah, no, that's the whole thing where people say there's less ads on YouTube. It's like, well, no. If you're looking numerically, yes. But if you're looking at like the amount of time the ads could take, no. And there's all that kind of stuff. And it's just one of those things that like there's all that. And people will be like, oh, but you can skip them. It's like, well, the problem is that's only if you're like hovering over the video and watching. And a lot of times when it comes to the consumption of stuff like stream, usually a lot of people have it as background noise, which means you're not skipping. So it ends up being a whole big headache. And so it's just kind of one of those things, a little bit of a misnomer. Okay, so with that, I believe we wanted the blender here after all of that work. I'm going to leave a little bit of space off to that side, just in case I need to run anything up and down this way. So, fused modular frame after all this time. Cool. Let's go and get this all set up. So we will start with logistics, pipe 2, bring that up here, and run that straight across. And then we can put our fold here. Plug it in. That, okay, it is actually connected. I thought I really messed it up. Okay. And now I can go grab you. Put a power connector here. Plug it in. Cool. And next up, it is time to get our materials here. And that's good news. I believe... Oh, like, that's not going to be... So we don't know what that is. And we've got our aluminum frames here. Cool, cool. So let's set that to be a straight shot over. I'm trying to decide how high I want to elevate things. Alright, so we'll have that. Level these. Keep running this over here. Turn this over this way. Okay. So with that, we should be able to do it. But yeah, and I hear what you're saying there, Otan. I'm not saying you're wrong or anything like that, because I honestly don't know. I would be very surprised if that was the case. It could be something that got past their, like, advertisement moderation, whatever. Which, again, would be a shame and potentially get YouTube in trouble. It's not the first time we'd have a platform who got something that they hadn't intended on being allowed. Like, there's been a lot of problems over the years of, like, where you'd have platforms that say, we don't run political ads, and then... you know, someone sneaks one through, and then usually after it gets reported, it gets pulled. But that kind of stuff can get you in legal trouble, too. It's a whole thing. Hey, Otan, let's not go that far. Let me quickly go there. I get what you're saying. But, yeah, no, you just report it. It's the same thing when people do stuff on Twitch they're not supposed to. Not even like the advertisers, just in general. When you have people pop on Twitch and they go into like a racist tirade or whatever, that you report it and you move on. Because it's one of those things that like Twitch doesn't have a human being, and YouTube is the same. They don't have a human being that sits there and reviews each and every ad that comes in. Like, it's the same thing where they don't review content every single one that comes in. There's just not enough human beings in existence to facilitate that. What are you producing again? Oh yeah, no, I don't need the big box for that. I will use the big box. The one advantage of using the big box is that when it comes to hooking up to dimensional storage, you can just plop it on the bottom and be done and not have to think about it more. Oh, I need to... Because I still haven't hooked that other stuff up on the, I still haven't got my SAM hooked up with the steel tubes to be able to produce those at the thing. Like, I'm producing the activated SAM, but it's just still sitting in the middle of a lake where I've been producing it. And eventually I need to get it where the steel tubes and the copper are, so that I can have it automatically make this stuff. It is going to be a problem later on. And not even that far later on. I think Phase 5, that's going to be an immediate issue. Okay. Yep, gotta keep the button held. I'm glad they added the thing where you could just tap space and it'll just do it, so you don't have to sit there and just hold your thumb on the space button. The other thing is, once we get this all set up, the next thing I want to do is get the rocket fuel production online. Right, and we were making the dimensional storage. Just having him, I was like, what was I doing here again? Alright, so I can go here, get you, plug you in. Use to set your coffee mug on the spacebar. I can't remember what I said on it. It wasn't a coffee mug or anything like that. It was something like, I haven't used it in a while, but it's like, it's a thing for like a hand exercise, but it's got a gyro, so it's like really weighty. I've done that before. Because that's always the catch, is having something with enough weight to hold down the spacebar. Okay. Why do you not have a middle car? Alright, let's ride this train again. Because I should be getting that middle car full. So something's not right. We are at least getting the aluminum casings in now. And that's good. But the heavy modular frames, granted, I'm sure we're not getting enough of them. But it should have come back and had at least 2 or 3. So let's run back over here real quick. The aluminum casings, I literally have so much, it's not even emptied out. It's just topping off. Let's see, the station was the wrong direction, so are they both loading the same freight? I really hope not. I really hope not. We'll be able to see in a moment. If I pull up here and it's at that same point, like, fixing it is easy, except for the stuff already in the inventory. No. Okay, it's fine. Because that gap is where it would go. So you're set to load. Wait, why didn't you stop at that? I forgot to save after I changed it. Okay. So it goes here in the end. There's your problem. I didn't hit the save button. The good news is that means I got at least 100 of these sitting over here in the meantime. Yeah, you know, it's almost like when you don't save stuff, you know, it doesn't work. I've done that a number of times. Okay, so it does look like we are getting the modular frames through. Are we starting to see those back up? Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. And this is all looking like it's going well. Okay, cool. So it looks like that's all in order. In the meantime, let's go and run over here, and I'm gonna drop off the steel pipe at the hub, just to get it out, like get that done. And then what I'm going to do from there is I'm going to head over to our oil production location and see what I can do about trying to get rocket fuel produced at least enough to do that. Because the good news is it doesn't look like I need the bottles for rocket fuel production, other than if I want to use it right now to jet around, which I do. But that's not really going to happen. Can I make the... Let's also check what the milestones are of when I get to make... I think I get the rocket engines after the leading edge production. Do you have the hover pack? Yes. It's right now just sitting in my dimensional storage. Last time I didn't even get the rocket fuel. I just leaned on that the whole time, other than when I was exploring away from home. And that went a long way for us, but... This time I went real hard in setting everything up early that I didn't have to worry about. Okay, cool. So what we should see happen, probably not yet, it's going to take a full cycle. We should see the... I can actually grab what we already have, just so I know when it's working. So I'll grab all those ones we already had that I found doing the other stuff. But what we should see happen is, as we go through this, I should see that go up. I'm going to pin that, since that's something we need here. And we can unpin you and you. But yeah, so we see that go up by 1, that means we're in business. Anyways, as you learned today that the hover pack stays powered over the railway even without the power poles near. Yep, as long as it's a powered rail. Those are smart plates. That's all stuff that's going to eventually shut down. I learned last time that I want to keep that stuff producing. Because I did shut down all those things between things to keep it from costing materials. And then, you know, you realize those are a requirement of the next thing. Yeah, it's going to take a good minute or so for first for the getting everything over to that blender to start producing, and then to actually get it into the storage. This is our big train that keeps getting bigger. It would kind of be fun to have a setup where you had like 2 bases and you just move that. How do you get your railroads to float? Delete the foundations? Yeah, so I put up foundations so I can make them nice and flat and like to contain, like make sure I had the angle up and everything right. And then afterwards I just deleted the foundations. I want to see you go up by 1. There's going to be any time now we should get that first one through, because I think a cycle on those is 1 or 2 minutes. Alright. So this is our oil production. This is where almost all of our power comes from. Well, actually, I take that back. We've got a lot of geothermal these days. Yeah, so I am producing a bit shy of 10,000, but that's because geothermal ramps up and down. But we're only actually using about 4,500, 5,000. So, it looks a lot better than your setup with railways. Some editing to do more? Yeah. Well, there's lots of things you can do to clean stuff up. Okay, so what I need to figure out is let's put down a refinery and check the production. As we're making a ton of rocket fuel and powering a lot of our base with that. And we can get fancier. So, rocket fuel is going to be nitric acid and turbo fuel. I'm already making tons of turbo fuel. And the interesting thing with rocket fuel, making compact coal as a side product, means I can feed it into itself. But now comes the question of where's my nearest nitric acid? And realistically, this is going to be another train situation. Because then I'll get the first fluid train we've ever built and do that. Where did you ping? 800 that way. That's actually not bad. Why? Oh, because I have it hidden. That's actually not that bad. Getting a train over there would not be that big a deal. I know I could pipe it over the whole way and drop it down. I've been trying to avoid that. So let's pop over here, get that nitric acid. We do have a line in that area somewhere? I already have this one, right? Pretty sure we do. Yeah, we've already looted this one. I'm just gonna go around it. Okay. Because then I'll have a dedicated nitric acid line to going and making rocket fuel. And then once we get that, I should be able to unlock the ionized rocket fuel. And I'm really curious what that's going to take. My assumption is it'll take uranium. I could also see it taking plutonium. If it takes plutonium, that'd be a major project. Because that means I'd have to set up the entire process for nuclear power, and then set up the process for recycling that power. Okay, you're right there. I was gonna say we're pretty close. Okay. Alright. So we go here to that. I can't build the next part until we actually we got our fracking online. And there's a Mercer sphere. Okay, so let's check our map. Where is I can see the nearest power cable. It's right there. Okay, easy enough. So let's get our power online for that. So I should just need power. Platform, do this, grab your power, plug you in, grab this power. Before I do that, I need more turbo fuel. Getting a little low. Alright, let me... deal with that real fast. We'll grab that slug. Cool. And now we can pop that cable in. And go from there. Let's see, when you run out of your copper, you produce pure copper. Wonders why running out of copper. There we go. And so I now got power up to where we're fracking. So that way we can do the all environmentally safe thing that is fracking. Definitely doesn't create pollution literally everywhere. From having stuff come up where you don't want it. Not in the game. In the game, it's totally fine and contained. In real life, that's the danger of fracking, is just... you smash the ground to get it to pop up, and it pops up. Is it a convenient place for it to be? No, but it's going to show up where it's going to show up. So it ends up contaminating water supplies and all sorts of stuff. There's a reason why most places are like, no, we don't want that here. We can put you like that. Turn you like that. Okay. And just like before, I'll put a large reservoir right next to it. Okay. You're waiting to see if your manifold fills, and then you're heading to bed. That's fair. Alright. Yeah, honestly, these spots where you do like the fracking kind of stuff, I don't see a really good way with the nodes spread all over to put it down where it would actually look nice. Because like it does seem like you just spider web your stuff together. Like I'm sure you could make it at least logical lines. All right, so with this said, so we're up here. That's where nitrogen is, and I want it down there. So this is honestly going to be one of our shorter railways just popping down there. I don't know where we're going to take it down there, but what is going to be interesting is it's going to be a short train, and it's also going to be our only fluid train we've made so far. So I am curious about doing all that. All right. Okay, so we're gonna go to transportation, train station, turn it away from us. There you go. And then we will have the fluid platform. Do that. And then just the empty platform. Cool. And then we're not gonna do anything fancy. Just gonna pop it in there. And then plug you in. And just like that, this end is already done. So apparently it can carry 2,400. Which is the same that the fluid buffer can carry. I don't really see... So, okay, one way I could get around this problem. I was just there, I was like, man, I don't see a way I could fill it up faster. I do actually see a way I could fill it up faster. Let's tear this apart. We're going to make this look better. Not only look better, function better. So I'm going to grab you, and we're going to go ahead and put a little bit more platform here. We'll deal with that in a minute. But what I can do is we can go to organization, fluid buffer, scoot you as far over to this side as I can, and then put a separate one here. And now let's just adjust this a little bit. Okay, I can put you there. And there. Plug you in there. Because what I can do with this now is you go on the bottom port, you go on the top port, and then we can go down. Actually, we can make this work a little bit better. Grab you. And put you over here. That way, all of this stuff coming in will naturally want to feed into this area, and all this coming in will naturally want to feed over into that area. And these should be connected enough that we should be able to split it off. They will be able to feed into the different sides. I kind of wanted to put that bit over. It should be okay. The point is, this one, we're going to block how much flow can even go through there. And I think that'll be fine. But these should start ramping up and all that. And it should be able to pick up at a decent speed. Because these are producing like 120 whatever. Honestly, max you out. So that can produce 2,100 meters cubed. Needless to say, that'll overwhelm any pipes I've got going on here. I don't really see a reason to do more with that. Because we've got them on 2 separate lengths of pipe, we've got them going on our side. That should be able to fill it up where the pipes are the bottleneck, and I don't think we get a higher tier pipes. So it is just what it is. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Okay. I think the next move is going to be figuring out where I'm bringing that in on the area down below. Part of me is tempted to just really fast, since very clearly I'm going out that way. Let's just set that up now. No tier 3 pipes? Now I'm sad. I don't believe there are tier 3 pipes. I know there's a higher tier of belts than I've got, but I'm pretty sure that's the end with pipes. I could be wrong, though. To be fair, there's not many situations you would need a higher tier pipe. This is just one of those few exceptions. Where realistically what I would need to do probably is just set up another train. Well, I heard you jump. Alright. So we've got that here. Now continue dropping it down till it's at a reasonable height. And I'm going to turn it over towards the other area. But worry about the turning. Yeah, so that should be low enough that I could probably reach that by just jumping up with the rocket pack. We'll do one more just in case. Expecting this to be lower than I want to actually go. Yeah, okay. So with this, let's go over to our station, figure out where we're bringing that nitrogen in. And then wherever we bring that in, then, you know, obviously we'll get all that set up. We'll bring the nitrogen in, we'll start producing our rocket fuel, and then we will see what it will take to create ionized rocket fuel. And then the last thing to do would be figuring out how to get the bottles we're producing down here, which the answer is going to be a train. My hope is I'll be able to just piggyback on a train I've already got. Just add another freight to it. I don't know if we have any aluminum stuff moving from here and there. We can figure that out. Okay, so we've got the turbo fuel over here. So we can get at that relatively easily. Because I don't mind if I have to move the power plants. Moving the power plants is easy. So very genuinely, I probably could just toss the train station over here. It'll be a little smooshed in. Oh no, this will be perfect. Because this is turbo fuel right here. So I should be able to just piggyback in there. We'll probably hit some pipe bandwidth issues, but that's fine. Now the catch is I don't want it to come in north or north-south, because right now with it going north-south already, we're kind of stacked and the train's going there. So if I make it east-west where it butts up against this, that'll also make it much more available for me to expand later if I need to go and say, oh, I just don't have the throughput. Let's add another thing onto our what's the word I'm looking for? Another freight car onto our train. That choice. Okay, so we'll skip at least one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Then go here, transportation, train station. Yeah, because I want to skip at least one. Just for the plan of I don't know what I might need later. So let's just have plans to have space to give myself room to grow later. Alright, so that's where we're heading. So let's take the height from where we're at there and turn it this way. We can go right over these little islands and all that, and then we'll drop it down to meet that train station. And then we should be able to go and hook that all up and do what we have to get the rocket fuel online. Meanwhile, yep, so we are getting our fused module frames. Cool, so everything's set up with that. We actually can unlock the leading edge. I should not have gone that close. It's going to aggro. Yeah, I was hoping to hit it as they came out, because you can, if you time it well when they're popping out, you can actually get it so that you'll catch the hornet things as they come out after you, so you get the whole swarm blown up with it. Alright, so let's go here. Delete that last segment. Yeah, start turning while it's going down. So this will be annoying because I'm going to get attacked by the bugs as I'm doing this, but that's fine. Just make a little bit of zigzag here just so I can reach this area. Because then when I get the angle on the track, as long as I'm close enough to it that it still detects me building, we can get that all sorted. It is that station over there on the right that I'm aiming for. Yeah, right there. But I gotta go a little bit wide right because we do need to be able to turn into it at the end. And that should be what we need. Alright, almost there. Okay, I think we're at the point of dropping down to its level. Okay. Actually, honestly, I could probably just reach that from here. Okay, transportation, railway... Grab you. Alright, so I want to try and face that roughly... not perfect, but it'll pass. Okay. Yeah, I can make that work. It'll take a little finagling, but that's passable. Alright, because then what happens is when we get over here, I can just start curving it once it's in range. Alright, so let's try and curve it up this way. This might be an issue just because of the change in elevation. Maybe. That'll work. And around there. Alright, it was not perfect, but that's okay. It'll have a little shimmy at the end. But that's alright. The point is, it'll serve. Now, is that a summer sloop or is that a slug? Because it sounds like it might be a summer sloop. Oh no. The Mercer Sphere. I kind of miss Ada talking to us. We've grabbed enough that she stopped talking to us entirely. It makes me sad. I miss her mild kind of threats, but not threats, but, you know, really definitely threats. Okay, and boom. Alright, so... now it's time to clean all this up. And then we can get our train on board. And we can get all that going. Sad trombone. Oh man, that's still my favorite dialogue. Where she's like, I don't understand. And Mercer responds, sad trombone. Just like, what? Okay, so not my slickest rail, but it'll do. It's fine. It's a weird angle to be going. I could have definitely taken more time to like make it way nicer, but honestly, it doesn't matter. Okay. But with this, we can set up our production of rocket fuel. And once I get rocket fuel production online, I should be able to... like, what I'll probably do is I'll probably just manually set up a packager, shove some aluminum bottles in it, enough to unlock the things at the MAM, and see what it would cost me to make the ionized fuel. Which, like I've said before, I'm fairly certain is going to involve either uranium ore or plutonium, or the, what is it? The non-feasible uranium I could also see. If it was nuclear waste, that would be interesting and dangerous, which is why it should absolutely be that, because then that forced me to set up nuclear power and all of that. I mean, honestly, plutonium would also mostly require me to do that unless I get lucky with hard drives. Okay, so I've got you online, so now it's time to set up our train. So we've got train, we've got... where? Oh, liquid or solid. I see. I was like, wait a second, where's my liquid car? Alright, so this should be a very easy track to set up, because we just go... edit timetable, first, second, just have a good time, get out of here. There's no magic, just A to B, Meanwhile, you go unload here, and we're good. Alright, so with that there, I've got this going all here. So let's give ourselves a little bit of platform over here to start setting up our refineries. Because the things I'm going to need is, one, I'm going to need turbo fuel. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Two, I need the nitrogen, which is what that train is bringing us. So again, easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's right here. And then the last thing we'll need to do is an output for the rocket fuel. That's not hard. And then I will need to get the compact coal and do something with it, because that is a byproduct. It's a good byproduct. I was gonna figure out what I'm doing with it. So first up, production. Let's go to organization. We can go ahead and, just as a precaution, just like we did on the other side, we're gonna have 2 of those. That way I can take advantage of both outputs. So output 1, output 2. So that's our nitrogen. Burning nuclear waste is better because that is not pure plutonium. Yeah, alright. So from here, this is where things are gonna start getting a little bit more interesting. Alright, so that's kind of an inconvenient one to break, but that's fine. So we'll grab here. And for a moment, I'm just going to put that there. And I'm going to put an elbow right around here somewhere. And jam that in over there. And even though that is super overkill, I'm going to do the exact same thing here, where I have the 2 of them. Now granted, these are being fed by just one you're too close. One moment, we can make that better. We'll grab you. I'll bring it over here. As close as I can before it starts whining. Alright, let's try that again. I need you to already be at that spot. And now I should be able to put... Okay, let's change the way I'm doing this. So we'll grab you, plug you in over here, scoot you on past this way, and see if we can't get this over here. We can. Cool. And then that was a miss. And then plug that in over there. Alright. So with that, we should start seeing turbo fuel go into this thing. Very slowly. There we go. And then we already cleared that out. Cool. So I've got 2 of these. That is the nitrogen, and 2 of those that are our turbo fuel. So production, the next thing to do was we had to use the blender because it has an output that is a solid product. I'm going to make sure I've got enough space to work with, and we're going to scoot you over 1. Because what's going to happen here is I'm going to start with the tier 2 pipe, and we can connect these together. I can put T in the middle on both of them. And this will be a little bit of a weird trick in how I set this up. So I should be able to go to logistics, have the stackable pipes. So that's the turbo fuel. We don't want to raise the turbo fuel off the ground. Actually, we'll change your setup to come off that side. I was trying to grab this. Because if we keep the turbo fuel at ground level, then I don't have to worry about anything. I literally told you to line up with that. Could you do that, please? So you are saying you are lined up. There we go. Cool. Now I can take this over here. And plug that in here. I can take you over here. We're going to take you straight out. And line that up here. That way I can send that pipe right underneath. And if I need to expand it either way, we've already got it all lined up. And we're just good. Cool. So that means I can now go here to our pipes, and one of them goes right there. And the other one right here. And we can put a power pole here. So that'll start producing rocket fuel once we get all hooked up. And now that's hooked up. Okay, so that's going to be able to make rocket fuel. Right now, we're not producing enough extra turbo fuel for it to actually do anything. Wait. That's nitric acid. Not nitrogen gas. Alright. What do I need for nitric acid? Not here. I have a bad feeling I'm really not gonna like the answer. I bet you it's sulfuric acid. Nitric acid. Here, we can just go here. Nitric acid. We don't know how to make it. Produced when nitrogen gas reacts with water, is highly corrosive, oxidizing process. So all that work, I can't make it right now. It's fine. I'm willing to bet we probably run over here, and we're going to probably immediately unlock it, and then have to go back over there and do it. My guess, it's sulfuric acid. Or no, it said water. It might be sulfuric acid. You can look up nitric acid. Well, that was the thing, is I highlighted it, and it showed nothing. So my assumption is that I just don't have the pattern. Which I'm about to get leading edge production. I can go ahead and verify if it's this one or the next one. Still, I'll need the nitrogen down there. It just looks like I probably have one more stage to do. Most likely it's combining sulfur. So it mentions water reaction. So it could be I just need to combine water in a blender. It could be I need water and sulfuric acid. It could be sulfur, water, and nitrogen. Either way, all of those things are over there. So it's just a matter of running over here, unlocking it, and then turning around and plugging the things in that are all over there. Because I have sulfur over there, I have coal over there, I don't think I have aluminum over there. I mean, there's a chance I might have to ship something else over there, but I do already have a pretty substantial setup. Oh, you don't like me yet. Oh, do I have a berry? Ah, you're full on run. I'm not gonna worry about it. Because I could just drop the special frames we've got. Doodling head. You get it? You get it at particle enrichment? Oh. Okay, well that's unfortunate. I think particle enrichment is phase 5. That's fine, either way. The point is I've got it set up for when we go to do it. You tamed Doggo, went out to check the factory and can't find him. Yeah, it happens. Alright, so let's go here real fast. We can grab... Oh, it's up here at the top. We can grab those, plunk them in here, push the button. Active milestone.
The Miner Mark III provides
nitric acid
top-of-the-line resource extraction potential, making it even easier to contribute to project assembly. Project part number 8, the thermal propulsion rocket, is the most complex project part of this phase as it requires turbo motors, and thus requires your best. Fix it, didn't think pioneers such as you could get this far. I am glad we have both proven them wrong.
Alright. So that means more things I need to produce that I've not gotten going yet. Because now I need the turbo motors and I need the cooling systems. The Caterium wire were good. The whatever the heck modular frames those are were good. But the turbo motors and all that will be another thing to deal with. So let's see here what we've got going on for those. Alright, so the thermal rockets and all that, that's going to require both those things. We'll deal with that later. The turbo motor. That's the cooling system, the control units, the motors, and the rubber. Yeah, that's going to suck a whole lot. And... so I believe, if I remember correctly, with the cooling system, I want to say it was in here and it required heat sinks. Oh, we got the Mark III. Cooling system. Okay, that's the water, the nitrogen gas, the heat sinks, and rubber. Alright. So, the places we have nitrogen gas right now is I've got it way up here at that train station, and I've got it way down here at that area. So let's consider what I need to actually get our things done. So first up, the heat sinks. So the heat sink, I have two recipes, which is the heat exchanger, which is what I'm going to probably do, which is the aluminum casings and rubber, as opposed to the aluminum sheets and copper sheets. Because that copper is going to get... Let's see, why is your map always showing the resource? Is this a mod? No. We have radar towers. So if you see that thing where it's pulsing that ring out, I can see every resource that's underneath that ring. So I have 5 towers up, so we zoom way out here. That's all where my tower locations are. So you'll notice we could see resources in those areas, but if you look down west by my oil, you don't see any of the marker of any of the things I'm exploiting down there. But they're really good, because like you see you mouse over, and it says there's a hard drive, a somber sloop, and 25 slugs in that area. If we then go to one of the other towers we can get a hold of, that one tells me I've got 6 hard drive, 5 somber sloops, and 20 Mercer spheres, and 112 slugs there. That said, as a warning, not all of the hard drives show up on it. There is a bug where a bunch of hard drives, they won't be detected by your scanner or whatever. So I do think the answer is we go back up here. Gotcha. I do think we're gonna go run up here to where we are already moving the where we're already moving our words are hard. The gas. So we've already got the gas up there. Because the alternative is they bring the gas elsewhere, which isn't hard. It's a one car on there. That's what I gotta figure out. So let's figure out where I've got aluminum casings. I'm pretty sure we're bringing aluminum casings up here already. And we're bringing aluminum casings up here, and I've got rubber already up here as well. That might be where we make our heat sinks. And then we can take our heat sinks and we can ship them up to where our nitrogen gas is. And then we can just figure out like the last material we're missing. Because it was what? Cooling system. So it's the heat sinks, rubber, nitrogen gas, and water. Water and nitrogen gas, I've already got it. No other effort required. And then rubber and heat sinks I've got over here. And it should be potentially as easy as taking the train that is down there. I could potentially take this train down here, add two more freight onto it, and with the 2 additional freight onto it, I'd be able to produce the turbo motors. Oh man, I'm gonna need the motors up there too. Ah, this is where we're finally getting bit in the butt for having a spread out factory. Okay. I do not know what I just hit. Oh, I accidentally logged out. Okay, hopefully that didn't mess anything. I'm not sure what you saw with that happen. I accidentally locked my computer. So I was looking at my login screen. That seems cursed. Well, we didn't drop any frames, so I'm guessing you all just kept seeing the game? Because what I meant to do was to switch over to this and type here. But I accidentally hit the Windows key, and then it was unhappy about that. Alright, so, turbo motors, we've got that. So turbo motors, yeah, we use that here. And the turbo motors need the cooling engine, the control units, man, none of these are in the same place. None of these are in the same place. So, alright. I hate it. Yeah, so I need the motors, I need the rubber, and I need the radio control units. The motors are up here, I believe. No, this is not where the motors are. The motors are one of these platforms. We've expanded so much, I'm losing track of what was where when. Did we move where I was making my motors? Were they up here? Ah, there's my motors. Yeah, so our motors are here. So that's one of our ingredients I gotta deal with. All right, let's figure this out. Let me put that down. Okay, so for the turbo motor, I need the motors, the rubber, the control units, and the cooling thing. The cooling thing I'm gonna need to produce up where the nitrogen gas is probably. You have rubber and the motors right here. And that's also one of the materials I'm gonna need for making the final propulsion things. But my control units, I think, are down this way? Oh, man. So the problem I'm running into with this is gonna probably be its own dedicated train. Just because of everything involved with it. Because I need to grab the motors from over there. I'm gonna need the aluminum casing from over there. I'm gonna need the rubber either from ahead or back there or over there. The rubber's probably the easy one. We need water. That's easy. Water's a freebie. I just go anywhere near the water and we're good. We need the nitrogen gas, which is all the way up there. We need the remote control units, which I believe is down here. I think on that pad, maybe? No, this pad. I think it's this pad. Yeah, because we're making the computers. You're not getting enough plastic. Well, crap. High circuit board. Supercomputers. There's the regular circuit boards, the AI limiters, the rotors and all that to make the electromagnetic rod things. That's the motors, or the engine things. Where was I making the electromagnetic, or sorry, the remote control units? What goes into that? Radio control unit. Oh, that's oscillating core. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So, all right. So that's over here. Is either here or here. So that's where our control unit is. That's where our rubber and our motors are. That's where our nitric whatever and water is. So I do actually think we've got a... Yeah, that's literally where our oscillating one. I do actually think this train gets close. I might actually have a train that already goes pretty close to that route. So we might get lucky with that. Is there any... Oh, and then the aluminum. That's the problem. And the aluminum's down here. But I can do the aluminum over by the steel and have it make my heat sinks there and ship that. So ignoring the rubber... Well, no, because I need the rubber on the other side, too. This is the pain you get for having a spread-out factory, is when you need to bring it all together. And I mean, the answer is going to be a train with like 4 or 5 cars. But I don't want to make a train with 4 or 5 cars. Because I need a lot of space to do all that. Alright. I have so many trains zigzagging. Oh, man. I am genuinely kind of regretting having all this stuff spread out. This is the first time we've got our materials out. It's like, okay, I need all these things, but none of my materials are nearby. The Caterium wire is also an easy one. Oh, well, I know... Alright, sorry. The Caterium wire I just need for that. So basically I need to go through the production to set up the production of turbo motors, and once I've got that online, I will get everything I need for particle enrichment, because the cooling thing is a component of the motors. So there's our remote control units. Alright, so remote control units here. I'm going to go ahead and do this for my own sake. Let's remove that marker. And for what we're dealing with, control units, there. Then we have the next thing I need to produce, which was the motors, was up here. So that's the motors, the rubber, the control units. And the control units are physically only made here. And the motors I'm only making there. The other like rubber, I've got lots of places that the rubber's at. I don't believe we're importing any rubber here at all. So that's relatively okay. Plastic. That's right. We're low on plastic, and that is going to be a problem. Let's go fix our plastic. We'll go fix our plastic, and then we'll deal with adding new things to break other things. Because the problem is, if I leave the plastic alone for too long, our computers will stop being produced, our circuit boards will stop being produced, everything will stop being produced, and little by little, things will just shut down, and that'll be a headache. So if I fix the plastic real fast, which should be just expanding... Do I already have that one? I probably do, right? Yes. So we do expand our plastic, which should be... I've got 2 more oil nodes, I believe I'm not even utilizing. I should be able to just pop it off, because we're also about to massively increase our consumption of rubber. So that'll also likely be a thing I need to do. We can also just check, because very genuinely, when we go to our oil production, I might literally already have my existing plastic and rubber lines, and I might literally just be able to add 1 or 2 things onto it. And be back. Were you literally just covering an iron node? Sure, whatever. Alright. Also trying to keep an eye on stuff because I don't come this way very often. All right. Just checking for goodies. I've probably more than cleared this place out. All right, so let's go take a peek at our rubber and our plastic production, and see what we can do to increase throughput without too much of a headache. Because they do have a dedicated area for plastic and rubber off to the right. And maybe I just toss some slugs in there. Maybe I can literally just add a couple extra buildings on there. We'll see. I'm sure with some of the stuff we unlocked, you could probably change the processes to make more, but that's a full rewiring, and I don't want to do that. Right now. Okay, so the rubber is fully backed up. That is a completely blocked off rubber line. The heavy oil residue, not seeing any of that. The crude oil appears to have a surplus, which makes sense because if the rubber is in its situation, that's fine. Yeah, so you're making plastic as fast as you can. So what I probably can do is just literally slap on some more of these. I even already have the pipe here. Yeah, so literally I can just go over here and say, hey, let's just go ahead and slap in here. I'm gonna say 4 more refineries. That's probably more than those oil pumps can handle even at all. But that way, anytime the rubber isn't overwhelmed. Yeah, it should be in and out. Okay. Cool. But that's the, I'm not going to bother doing anything math, just make it work strategy. Because this is one of those ones that if it overwhelms the system, it's fine. It just means I take a hit on the production rate. Cool. Alright, so you're making recycled plastic. Oh! That's right. So if I ended up with a surplus of the other two, I could literally switch it over. We're not going to worry about that. Because I remember I looked up that, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I could see where you're in a situation where you end up with a surplus, and that's one of your ways to managing your surplus. Alright. Cool. I have a feeling we're pushing the limit because I didn't math that all out. Alright, so we have increased the plastic production a little bit on that end. The next thing I need to do is get you sorted out all the way over here. I don't know if you're going to reach that far. You do. Good for you. Alright. We can go here. Oh, there's one right there, isn't there? Did I have one of those that wasn't hooked up this whole time? Oh my god, please just snap. There we go. Oh no, it's just they're big. Okay. And we're just upgrading all of this stuff. Alright. And you can grab that. Cool. So with that, we now should have a much higher yield of plastic going on, which we won't see them stay solid on the belt like they are for a little while now. Like, they're doing that because we had a backload on those last 4 I put on there. Yeah, but once, yeah, as you can see, once they're now starting to catch up. Alright, so that should be good news there. This is consuming none of the heavy fuel. Where's the heavy fuel going? Yeah, so you're full. Is that my issue? Do I have what was consuming my heavy fuel is running out? Alright, so that's not full here. Got you. Yeah, and you're very slowly trickling up. Okay, so we're fine in the heavy fuel. Or heavy oil residue. Cool. And you're producing 10 per minute, so you're really not producing much. I would need 30 of these before it overwhelm the lower level pipe. And so it is doing its best. And that should offset where the rubber wasn't producing at full speed. Which should have the side effects of improving our petroleum production, which will help our power just a little bit. I don't really care, honestly. No, where are you? Oh, it's our actual oil extractor. Yeah, and it's literally backed up. Because we're just not consuming enough of it. Yeah, so you're producing 600 meters cubed. And I've got 30 meters cubed going in here. So 30, 60, 90, 120. That'd be 240. That'll be 360. And then we've got the rubber over here, which isn't even running because it's backed up. I honestly could put even more on these. Let's put 2 more on here real fast. And then we can go to you, plastic, plastic. Same deal. Connect all that up. Oh, wrong one. I was like, wait a second, why is it fighting me? Alright. Okay. Alright, we've got a slow belt here somewhere, maybe? No. It was just emptying the machines out. Alright, so we've got even more plastic production online, so that'll be good news. And that'll also give me a little bit more petroleum, which we could just burn. Alright, so let's see how that does, because we did probably close to double our production. Are we still producing cloth? How is that not full? We've got that there. Am I using... Oh! Right, okay, I understand. Yeah, so that's the overload. The overload goes into the awesome sink. And same with the cloth overload. I forgot we even set that up like forever ago, because the problem was if I let that go and it did overwhelm, the whole system would effectively shut down. Right, so that was a precaution we took a long time ago. Alright, so that should help our plastic. I'm gonna just say that's good enough for the moment, and get ourselves to figuring out how the heck I'm even doing this other thing. So, what I need to do is, first step, we have both the aluminum casings and the rubber, I believe, are both in the steel area. So without going any farther, I could just make heat sinks right there. So I can get the heat sink started, and that'll be at least one component of all of this disaster that I'm producing. Because that'll save me shipping the aluminum and the rubber separately, I believe. And if not, then I'll be sad. And that'll just be what it is. The next thing I will need is I will need the motors. I'm wondering if it's better for me to ship the nitrogen gas to the steel area and doing it that way. Alright. Because we got the control unit was by the quartz. Alright, so the first things first, I need to figure out where exactly those aluminum casings were, which we were messing with before and I've already forgot. Because we've got the control units are there. And basically I just need to get some of these where the materials are in the same place. And honestly, I could see making one really big train that whatever I need, it will have a freight car for it. And we will just, if it has to be a seven piece train, we will have the whole 7-piece train dealing with getting the turbo motors around. The turbo motors themselves are something I could be worried, like I could do the drones with. Like that's the whole thing, is I still haven't made the drones because the drones are primarily going to be for high value, low yield materials. And I keep finding myself when I do have one of those, I also have something of high volume I also need to move in the area. Yeah, because I believe... Yeah, that's where I've got our remote control units. And I don't think there's rubber or aluminum over here. And this is the Caterium wiring, which I'm shipping somewhere that I don't remember. Okay, that's going to be where my aluminum casings go, I believe, is that way. So it looks like my aluminum casings might be... Oh, I thought I ran out of fuel or something. Yeah, so that's our remote control units. So I believe our aluminum casing's this line. We have the computers. Oh! Is this where I'm doing the, like, the really dirty thing where we have the aluminum casings coming in here, they get shipped down this way to be used, but then I also have them passed underneath. Yeah, so that's the aluminum casings. Alright. Yeah, I remember this now. So we've got the aluminum casings being used over there, but there's no rubber on this side of the factory. But what I am doing is I'm piggybacking off of that ship-in area. So it's not here. It's the two over there. I have a conveyor belt that goes underground up to just the other one, so one empties and literally just dumps into the other one as well, so that they're both potentially getting their aluminum casings. So we look over here, that doesn't have any aluminum casings in it. I'm getting this really bad feeling their aluminum production shut down again after I fixed it multiple times. Alright, we'll check that out in a minute. But let's run up here, because like I said, I think we have the aluminum and the rubber, the aluminum casings I should say, and the rubber just up here. If that is the case, that should make it relatively easy for me to just take that, have that be a stop where we just grab that. Then it'll be a matter of like the next material saying, where can I make that? So is this aluminum casing pickup drop off? That's the heavy modular frame. Oh, do we already have our aluminum casings down here? That would make life a bit easier, because then I could potentially just expand on this railway. Because this is my one that goes down here. So I don't think we're moving rubber down here yet. Thanks to the lift. So we already have our aluminum casings being brought down here. And that was for whatever the heck. Oh, what were we making over here? I don't remember. Yeah, so we do have our aluminum casing. Alright, so good news. Aluminum casing is already up here. And I've got plenty of room that I could probably add 3 more freight on here before we start running into a problem. So, if we go in here... Why are you... Oh, I guess I can't search while in the train. Okay, that's fine. Because the aluminum casing and the rubber makes the heatsink. The heatsink is heatsink, water, and nitrogen gas, and motors make the next thing. If that's the case, then if I can grab the motors... No, the cooling unit is a middle thing. So I need the cooling unit. The cooling unit was heat sinks, rubber, no, that's right. The cooling unit was the heat sinks, the rubber, the nitrogen gas, the water. And then the turbo engine was the cooling system, Alright, was this... This one's fine. Ride this on to the next stop. Yeah, which I've got rubber... I've got rubber over there. I think literally it's on one of these belts up here that we've got rubber. So I should probably be able to just plug a belt over here, add another cargo on here, and that'll bring the rubber down that way. So that's good news. Yeah, so I think what we're doing is we're expanding this train and adding like 3 or 4 carts on, or 3 or 4 freight onto it. And I think that shouldn't be too terrible to accommodate. I'll have to finagle whichever stop we go to. I'm just checking the different stop to see where we'll have pain points. Like this. That is immediately a pain point. But I do have enough room I can expand this one, alright. Yeah, because that... Yeah, so that's where we're getting our casings. And then this is the heavy modular frames. Alright. And then we have you, which I'm going to ride that down to the our stop. Okay. Yeah, so I can add a freight cart onto there to move the rubber. While we wait, we can go to turbo motor, and we can kind of work our way back. So we got our turbo motor. Okay. So we need aluminum, rubber, water, the nitrogen. We need the control units, the motors, and then rubber again. So I've got 5 materials I need to be moving. Okay. And the nitrogen and the water is already down there. So then we have the rubber, the aluminum, and what the heck else was there? So we've got the rubber, aluminum to make the heat sinks, and that. The water and the nitrogen are already down there. The motors and the control units. So I've got 4 things I'm going to need to move by train down there. And I believe we are already moving the aluminum casings, which basically takes the heat sinks out. So we've already got that. So I've got rubber I still need to move, the control units I still need to move, and the motors I still need to move. So I only need to add 3 more freight carts onto the existing system. Now the problem I have is the remote control units are nowhere near the rest of it. Everything else I can get at that stop near the steel. The motors are there, the aluminum casings already got moving. We've got the let's see. Yeah, the motors are there, the rubber is there, and that's the only one that we're missing is the radio control units. And the radio control units are attached to this line I'm on now. No, it's not this line. No, this is where we get the the control units. Okay, yeah, that'll work. Because that's the railway I'm looking at expanding right here. This one right here. So I should be able to add 3 cars onto that. Grab the remote control units, plug it in there, go to the next stop, grab the rubber, we're good, grab the motors, we're good, and bring it over. So it's becoming a 5 cart train. Now, that said, I'm seeing a really big dip in... Oh, that's bad. That's real bad. That was supposed to have a full trunk of aluminum casings. That tells me my aluminum production shut down, which I thought I had resolved, and I'm wrong. So let's go fix our aluminum. Okay. At least you have a plan. That plan, this train, 5 cars. And I'm gonna have to like reshuffle all the stops and everything, but I've already got the rail there. I'll just have to adjust like where the stops get a little bit longer. We'll have to cut corners a little bit tighter and whatnot. But let's get our aluminum production fixed. More than likely, the alumina is maxed up, and the water is maxed up. We've had this happen, unfortunately, a couple of times. You are going to the aluminum, right? Yeah, it had to be, because you're getting aluminum. Oh, right, you're going to go over here, drop off, then you're going to backtrack the whole way to the aluminum. All right. It's one of those things, like, with all this, you can just walk yourself in a big circle where you're just like, okay, I'm going to work on this, then this, and this, and this, and you go, oh crap, this whole thing's wrong. What I'm going to do is, while we're waiting, I'm going to snooze the ads a couple of times. We still have about 20 minutes left to stream, but if I jump on and snooze the ad as many times as it'll let me, which is only 3 times, that means, you know, 30-something minutes from now will be the next ad break. So we can get our aluminum fixed and all that, and, you know, raid out and all that stuff towards the end of stream, and not have to subject you to another round of ads. Man. My fear, so this isn't that bad. My concern was I was going to have to add another, like, 5, 6, 7 car train and try and ship it over there and just be, like, this big, overwhelming thing. I'm glad it is going to just be slapping 3 more freight, and that the only headache will be I have to adjust where I'm emptying out one train car. You know, and then set up the production line on the other side. I'm also noticing from back here something deeply upsetting, which is there is a single unit of platform that I failed to delete in the middle of the track ahead, which clearly means we need to start our entire run over, because there's definitely no way we can salvage that. Obviously, I'm being facetious and we'll just delete it. I just didn't notice it till now. Hey, Geothermal, how's it hanging, buddy? Alright, so what the heck is going on up here? So that's supposed to be full of aluminum casings. And none of you are running. And that already tells me what our problem is. And that is the water is completely full. And I thought I had fixed that problem, but apparently I'm wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and yank another slug out of here. I don't see how you keep... Literally, you're producing what should be more than 100 meters cubed under the amount of water you consume. And then this filling up, that's not surprising. And we've got valves, so it shouldn't be able to fill up our storage here. Like, the storage here should only get filled up by these machines. And they should only output water when they're consuming alumina. Yeah, so meanwhile, the whole thing is going to be just gridlocked for a hot minute while everything plays catch up. Give me that whole stack. I'm going to hand carry that over. Give me your whole stack. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it out of here. And by jumping over to the end here, that should help bring it back online faster. Because that's the reason it's staggering right now, is all these trying to put out everything at once. It should only be spitting out about 6 at a time. And it is fully upgraded. Yeah, when that fills up, we should see that go solid there. It's backfilling now because all of those went offline. You love-hate how complicated big builds can be. So satisfying when it works, but annoying when one tiny thing shuts the whole thing down. Yeah, I do wish we had some way of, like, when fluids start to get backfilled, an easy disposal way. And I know the answer of one of the things I can do is I can make water bottles and then huck them into the void. Let me see what the packager. So that's packaged nitrogen gas, which is interesting. Yeah, so the packaged water requires the big package thing. Which unfortunately the reality with the big package, that's plastic, and I really don't want to dedicate plastic to that. I do wish I had the choice of using the other bottle, the rocket fuel bottle, even though that's also wasteful on the aluminum front, to do it, because it is a fluid bottle as well. It's fine. That will catch up. It's just going to take a minute, unfortunately, because everything went hanging. And these are our fluid bottles here. Actually, one of the things I could probably do... Oh, you're all full up, aren't you? It's fine. Yeah, so it's going to take a minute, because this is where our casings come from. Yeah, there's no point in me accelerating that It's just going to be a minute of all of these playing catch-up. Because we are using a manifold design, so it doesn't divide them all evenly. It is just going to backfill them. These are fine, as long as I don't go to the end here and find you stacking up literally hundreds like you are. That's a concern. Alright, are we at... Okay, let's double check our math. So we can move 780 on a belt. And we're doing 360 per minute. That's not even remotely capable for one belt. Because that's 720 for 2 of those. There's a problem right there. That means literally 2 of these will practically overwhelm a belt. And I didn't really leave myself a place to merge that in either. New plan. I can rip that out, turn it around the other way, rip you out, get rid of you, and go all the way to the end here. That's probably why things are getting busted. Because the whole process is, Why are you going that way? Oh, right. These are mergers going... Okay. I understand what's happening. I was like, why would you go that way? They're mergers, not splitters, so they have that direction. It's fine. So what I could do now is grab you... I'll need another bracket right here. Grab you. Are you not? Hang on. Why are you... Oh, are you not actually centered? Thanks. I hate it. It's fine. I'm gonna remove the bracket here in a moment. That's lined up. It's whatever. Bring it over here. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it feeding in from both ends. And that should solve my problem. Not solve it. It should greatly mitigate the issue. Where's the spot? There you go. Okay, so the plan here is straightforward and also kind of cursed, which is I'm going to bring this here at the end, and I'm going to feed it in this way, and I'm going to have to reverse a bunch of ones. The other option is super annoying, but it works. Put all the extra fluid into a giant buffer and then manually swing it every 50... Oh, no, that's the thing. I definitely don't want it to be a manually handle it problem. That is a hard pass on me. Okay, so what needs to happen here is... Okay. So, if we have 720 going, and each of these machines is consuming 60, so 120, 240, 360, 360, math is hard, 360, 480, 700, about here. So interestingly enough, we actually get almost done with the line before that should cap out. So all of these, unfortunately, now I gotta rip this all out. That's not connected. No, it's not connected yet. Because I need to reverse all of this. Oh wait, you're not. That's wrong. Yeah, so those aren't supposed to be connected. Basically, I'm taking a line that used to be separated, and we're switching the direction of it. Because we were bottlenecking on the belt, and they're just... Oh, that's the wrong ones. Well, let's try that again. I accidentally used mergers instead of splitters. Because of course I did. Why will you not? There we go. All right. So what should happen is we should start to see these all filling up much faster than they were before. And meanwhile, I can hop in on these ones, grab the stuff out of them to keep them running. Okay. Now these are going to overwhelm these three, and that's going to not consume enough of the alumina solution, but that's also going to reduce the water output. So that should be okay. I can add more of those on here. Let's see how many more of those I can fit here real quick. Yeah, and that's the limit. And then we're going to do something a little funky here. Cool. So now you need... Oh, no, don't do that, please. Now you need to go away. And I'll put you way over here. Get rid of this and this. Connect you back up. Okay, so that'll at least mitigate some of this. It won't resolve it. But yeah, so that should help a bunch, because now we're consuming way more of the alumina solution. So even if it doesn't fix the problem, it should massively mitigate it. Wait, are you already having problems with... No, okay, you're good. I saw it idling. I was like, excuse me, you're not sitting here not producing. That is not going to fly. Alright, how am I doing on time? Alright, we're getting kind of close. So that should fix our casing problem, because that's the reason I ran over here, is I was like, wait, I'm supposed to have an entire thing of casing sitting here, and then realize we don't. Honestly, I could probably put even more of those on here. So let's see. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And those take 30 per minute. No, wait, that's not what I want. Those take 60 per minute. So that's 300 per minute. And you're producing... That's not even one. Look. I need a lot more smelters. You know what time this is, chat? We're gonna solve this problem. The problem's gonna be solved. Yeah, because that'll be 150 each. So that's 300 between those two. That's 300 between those two. And that should exceed the production rate of those two over there. So literally that belt should go full speed now and never stop. Meanwhile, do I already have slugs in some of these? Is that how I was handling it? Was I just did the math of throwing slugs in there? No, so 60, 120, 240, 360. 1 second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's an easy number. So that's 600 that's being consumed per minute there. And we're producing... So we're producing 120 too much for that to handle. So I'm going to go here. And so that's at 60. And so we've increased it to 150, so that's 90 more. So I need to have just a wee bit more. I'm going to overdo it. Okay, so literally we should consume any and all output coming out of all of these. So we're just good. This is now balanced on that side. And so this, if I'm not mistaken, should start going down. Let me double check, make sure my math is right. 240 times 4. Well, it's 240, 480, 960. That's what we're consuming, right? Am I correct? So 960, and you're producing the exact same amount. Now the problem is, that means anytime this goes short, we're going to shut down. So I'm going to blast that. And now it should be even, with the exception of anytime that production lags out there, then it can start backfilling the alumina solution, which then means we're not consuming the water at the speed I need to be consuming it, and you get where this is all going. Because now, I'm willing to bet if we check this water bladder, it should be depleting. Yeah. So it is depleting regularly and gradually because we're consuming water at a faster rate than we're producing it, which was the plan, but now we're doing so at a rate much faster than I really wanted. So what's probably going to happen here is you are going to see these start struggling to run due to an inability to get water fast enough. So far it's holding up. But we'll see. I think I'd rather those ones stall out and get a little less efficiency than what's happened a couple times where the entire system just kind of falls on its face. Oh, well, this is a good and a bad problem to have. Because we are producing the aluminum ingots at such a rapid speed now that we're producing them significantly faster than we're consuming them. The problem is that is going to lead us into another situation where everything starts to lock up. But there's a solution to this problem. So you're over here doing your thing. You're basically full. Are you? Oh, I literally just have a conveyor belt not connected to anything. I used mergers again. Okay, then we're out of space for these. And now I actually needed a merger. I didn't used to have this problem, but I sure do now. Alright. There's the casing. All right. So we need that to keep consuming. And then we're going over here. We've got all that going. And you're moving over this way. And the good news is I'm willing to bet we are producing those at a far faster rate than we are consuming them right now. Yeah, because that's only bringing a couple. All right. So we should be okay as long as that can consume enough aluminum ingots. Yeah, that's consuming 150 per minute off of that. And that's, 300. That's 450. So that's good news for a lot of our stuff. And then the top belt here is not functioning at all. Oh, because I moved... Oh, no, that was a merger. That's right. That was the merger we had placed so that I had, like, an overflow to like, top off the connection. Right. That way, partway through the belt, I could, like, inject more aluminum ingots. So that way I had 2 belts out for the 1 belt in. If those 2 belts out are staying mostly full, like moving at a mostly good rate, then it should be good. Oh, that's not what you want to see? The copper's not supposed to get too low. No. Oh no, there's a slow belt spot. There's a slow belt spot. Where? Oh, never mind. There is a slow belt spot in here though. Probably inside one of these. It's gonna be right there. Or not. Because I saw it doing a weird slow pace. Alright, that'll do. Okay, so I've got that topped off. Unfortunately, the aluminum ingots are backing up. My hope is that that'll mostly be going down. Okay, that's fine. As long as it's continuing to go down slowly, then we're good. The big thing is I don't want it to build up where suddenly the whole thing chokes. Now, the other thing that's happening is we are feeding all of the... You're not... Okay. Oh, it's the trains there. It's the trains there. That's fine. That's why it's like, you're not supposed to slow down. Yeah, so anytime the train's there, it will stop moving them. But yeah, so that's good. Alright, get the copper out of our inventory. Okay. Jeez. So that ended up being an incredible hassle. Alright. So with that said, chat, we are hitting that point where what we're going to end up doing is wrapping up here soon. I'm just picking up this chunk of platform I missed earlier so that the entire game is not cursed. Because what we've established is the next step I would be taking is to get the turbo motors built. I need to go to... There's a train stop right over there that I'm pointing at. So not the one that this goes, but the one next to it. And what I believe I can do is add 3 more freight cars onto there. And then we stop by the steel. I grab the rubber that's at the steel. I grab the motors that are at the steel. And I don't remember what the last thing was. But there's one more thing I'm going to grab over by this. No, wait. I grab the control unit, the remote control unit that's right there. We grab that here. And then we grab the motors And the rubber that we have over by steel, this line already goes to where I want to take it. So we just basically expand it. And this side's easy. I just literally put 2 more freight spots, 3 more freight spots right there, and it's done. 3 more freight spots, plug it in, thumbs up. Peachy. Everything's on board. Middle stop, I'm going to have to finagle where the ports line up, because once I add those freight things, it's not going to line up correctly. But then we're going to go and just plug those 2 in. I want to even say the motors are directly above the train station on that side, or if not, they're like right next to it. Yeah, I think they're right next to it. So getting the motors over there, nice and easy. The rubber is like literally just down a conveyor line from it, nice and easy. And then on the other end, I believe I will have to realign where my freight is as well. But that's all going to be for next time. So with all that said, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to go ahead, if you're watching over on YouTube, the stream will be ending abruptly for you because that's just what happens over there. But for everyone over here on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We're going to go find someone for us to raid and all that who does good content. If you have enjoyed tonight's content, don't forget to drop a follow. That way you can find your way back here in the future.